Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of coffee to get through the next 4 years, huh? Welcome to officially my fourth episode of Morning Coffee with Professor Alex. What are we gonna talk about today? Well, ever hear of Doogie Howser? Apparently, Doogie Howser has taken over DOGE and the Department of Treasury and all the personal information we have. Yeah, you heard that right. Now, some of you may not know who Doogie Howser is. Neil Patrick Harris had a show when I was more or less in high school, 1989. He was like 16 years old. He was a trauma surgeon, something along those lines. I didn't really watch the show, but I definitely know who Doogie Howser is. And now we have Doogie Howser's running a show at DOGE. At least three of them are old enough to drink. One of them is not. One of them just got out of high school recently. Now, to be clear, I'm not exaggerating or lying in any way. This is actually documented. We have four kids. I'm going to call them kids, and I'll get to that in a second. Well, first place, I'm more than twice their age. So I'm at that age where they'll call me sir, and I can call them kids. But they are between the ages of 19 to 24. This has already been released. Now, what are they actually doing? I don't know. They probably did something coding wise. Uh, Clearly, they are highly, highly intelligent. They are coders that work for Elon Musk. So again, they are Doogie Howsers. But there's a lot of things that they lack, and one of those things is experience. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of years of experience in that department and how to run things. And I got to be honest with you, does a 19 to 24-year-old kid know how to run things? No. Do they know how to code? Yes. So what? Just because you know how to code doesn't mean you also get to know how to practice law. There's just no connection, But somehow they have taken over, literally by brute force. There's plenty of documentation that's out there where they have just walked in. People feel like they're under the threat of arrest. They've been kicked out or they've quit. And now what we have is Elon Musk, who has a social media company, now has information on us that only the federal government has when it comes to like issues of our social security and the social security payment system. Social media, what's the product that they sell? Right? They're not selling you shoes, they're not selling you anything. You go on there, you post your photos. People always wondering back in the day, what are these people? How do they make their money? They make their money because they have your information. And information on consumers is worth billions. How much is Zuckerberg worth? There's your answer. Now, I have no other way of saying it other than we cannot feel comfortable with what is going on, especially that our private information is now in the hands of Elon Musk. Has a lawsuit been filed? Sure. I don't trust the system at this point. So I used to, I don't now because of who's in charge of the system. So suppose that lawsuit comes in, they'll win it, the information gets withheld. He already has the information. You know what I mean? It's not like he can't put it somewhere else and just say he doesn't have it. We know President Trump is going to take care of him. So, I mean, that's where we are right now. We have Elon Musk, DOGE, apparently running all these things. And now all our information is in the hand of a bunch of kids, bunch of coders who have no experience working for the government or Treasury Department. They're excellent at what they do, but they lack that experience. Could there have been a merger? Sure. There could have been a merger where President Trump says, I want whatever department, whether they're kids or not, to create software. Let's try to find some holes in the system, things that need to be fixed. Maybe there's something that's being duplicated. We can save time. We can save money with this software, with AI. But that's not what we have, right? That's exactly not what we have. And so now what we have is, I guess the term everybody keeps saying is oligarchy. But I'm gonna look something up here while we're on camera, while I'm on camera. And at the same time, I'm gonna mention now this issue with El Salvador. Apparently, El Salvador has made an offer where they will house American criminals. Now, Think about that. So here we go. This is the word I was looking for. Coup. A sudden, violent, and unlawful seizure of power from a government. Keep that in mind. Now, I have been asked by several people um, whether they have citizenship or not. So, what's scary is people with citizenship. Spoke with someone a few days ago, excuse me, who's relocating out of the country, said he doesn't like what he sees. And there's a lot of people that are US born citizens, right? Not anchor babies, that are wondering how their rights are going to be stripped away. Well, I keep saying we do have rights, and those rights will get violated. But you know what? Our rights have always been violated, right? There's always a situation where at work something happens, whether or maybe it's law enforcement, maybe they crossed the line, our rights were violated. What do? We go to court, we file a lawsuit, we win, we make some money to try to make up for whatever losses we have had, right? So it's the rights, our rights being stripped is nothing new. But there's what we're seeing now. Trump did mention deporting criminals. Okay. First place, you can't use the word deportation and citizens in the same sentence. It just doesn't work that way. But now El Salvador is saying, we'll take your prisoners. Why? Because they need money to run their prison system. Supposedly, I saw photos of it. I mean, this kind of like a supermax, like what there's in Colorado. Just a high tech, let's say, can you use the word beautiful, describing a prison. That's what they're saying. Bring them here. We can use the money. Now, sounds good in theory, right? Well, just because you're in prison doesn't mean your rights are stripped away either. For example, we've all heard the term cruel and unusual punishment, right? So the first thing I thought of is, first place, that sounds like a deportation. You're getting someone in the US and sending them out of the country. That violates the law. Second, the laws of the US apply. So how is this prison system going to just separate the two and say, okay, well, you're American, so we got to apply U.S. law to your situation. You're not. You're from El Salvador or whatever other country they're bringing in, and those laws don't apply to you. Do you really think that's going to happen? No, that is absurd that that's actually going to happen. But that is the next thing now that we are facing. We're facing this issue of, is he going to start deporting criminals? We know the answer legally. We also know the answer, I guess the word I'm looking for, socially. You know, he doesn't care. He's going to do it anyway, right? Who's going to stop him this time? He's not running for reelection. So, which brings up my final point. Did you vote for this? Simple question, right? Did you vote for this? Now, obviously, I didn't vote for this, but when your chosen individual doesn't win, this in this case Kamala Harris, what does that mean? Well, it means there's going to be some policies that you disagree with. It's a different administration. They see things differently, socially, morally, ethically, legally. But everything doesn't go to hell in a handbasket. That's why my wife and I constantly say it's just blue. And that means that's the color of the handbasket we're choosing. But inside joke, right? But did you vote for this? And I honestly see it gets to the point where, and my wife says it all the time, and it's a saying in Spanish, where you cannot cover the sun with your fingertip. And think about what that means. We didn't vote for this. Even the people who voted for him didn't vote for this. Now they'll rationalize, because they always do, and they'll say something crazy like my 401k is up. That's usually the argument that they have to supersede whatever else is going on, which is a ridiculous argument. So let me ask you this, especially those of you who are in relationships, whether long-term relationships, you just met someone, or you've been married for decades. Here's my question to you. When you chose your spouse and your loved one, did you only take the parts that you like? No. You got the full package. You got the good with the bad. So there's always going to be something. You can ask any partners that are together and say, what is it you don't like? And they'll say ABC. We all have an ABC, right? But that comes with the package, right? And when Trump was voted into office, he came with the package. And so, as much as we think he was going to be great for the economy, well, I keep saying we. Let me exclude myself from that group. As much as they thought he was going to be great for the economy, it's the full package, and it's all this chaos that comes with it. And I don't see. Have you ever worked at a business where there's chaos, or it's just anywhere? Where you're in a classroom, anywhere? Were you anywhere that there was just nothing but chaos? How did it go for you? See, I can't imagine things run smoothly when we're surrounded in chaos. So to think that magically, just like that, he's going to make the economy great and put money in your pocket, right? That's not how capitalism works. Capitalism is really a dog eat dog world. And let's go back to Cheers. Norm, that's the only line I remember from Cheers. He comes into the bar, if you guys know what show I'm talking about, and he said, "How are you doing today?" He goes, "It's a dog eat dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear." Great line. But think about it. This is the full package. And so is all this going to compensate for whatever economy we think we're getting, even though capitalism doesn't work to benefit you? It works to benefit the business owners and everything else. And maybe you happen to benefit from it if you're in that company and everything else, but we're not entitled to anything. That's not the way that capitalism works. Maybe in other forms, in other countries, right? Call that socialism. Now, a lot of times these people don't realize that what they're asking for is a form of socialism. But besides that point, I'm not going to get into that right now. I think personally, I've seen social media is a little quiet on this issue. All the people that were going crazy for Trump and they're feeling emboldened, and I've come across it already on social media. But did you vote for this full package? Because that's what happens when you vote. You got to take the good with the bad. And there's no denying, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, there's a lot of bad. And it ain't working. And I can't imagine it's going to get any better. Things will get worse before they get better. So, all I can tell you is what I've kept saying consistently now for 2 months. Chaos creates political instability, and political instability creates financial instability. Now, to what point this is going to hit our pocketbooks, I don't know, but I don't see anything pretty coming our way. All I can keep thinking about is PTSD from the mortgage foreclosure crisis, where I had my property foreclosed on. I just gave it up, wasn't worth it anymore. Um, what happened then? Deregulation of Wall Street. Let them run wild. They know how to police themselves. You know who also knows how to police themselves? The Supreme Court. We see how well that's going, right? Let's just let people police themselves. We don't need regulations. Elon Musk was posting some gibberish about just getting rid of all regulations at some call at midnight. Why that guy's up at midnight doing calls with I don't know how many individuals says more than I need to know. But regulation is there for a reason, right? And so, what are the odds this administration is going to follow, who's clearly in bed with Wall Street, the same deregulation process? So, yeah, maybe everybody gets approved for a loan, right? Not everybody should get approved for a loan. And so, when that happens, comes the foreclosure crisis again. Sorry, I don't really see it any other way, only because history tends to repeat itself, especially when we forgot about it. George Santayana. So keep that in mind. You have to focus on your finances because I've never seen a situation where chaos works to the benefit of everybody. It only works to the benefit of the few. So unless you're part of that few, then you're on the outside looking in, and we might have some serious problems down the road. I'm going to say it like I've always said it before. I don't mind being wrong. I hope I'm the most wrong person on the planet right now. But unfortunately, I don't think I am. And I haven't really seen too many experts, economists that disagree. So keep that in mind. And next time you vote, ask yourself one simple question: do you like the full package? Because if you don't, then you know the answer. All right. Take care, everybody. I still got a little bit of coffee to go. So I'll enjoy this one in silence. Take care of yourselves. And remember, Doogie Housers have taken over the Treasury Department. Take care.